Crazy magic tricks.
If you couldn't already tell by the intro, we're doing crazy magic tricks. Bit unique, but yeah, just magic tricks, and maybe we'll do some exposed magic tricks.
White is an American magician who is becoming more and more known for his tricks and illusions. The trick in question isn't flashy or even done in front of a crowd, but it definitely falls into the unexplainable side of things.
Alright.
Whilst at Paste magazine, he asks the interviewer to hold his finger and then manages to move his ring from one finger to another, seemingly without even touching it. Seeing as the interviewer is holding his finger, sleight of hand would have been very difficult to achieve. He then makes it even more difficult to do by getting the interviewer to cover his entire hand and then switching the ring from one hand to the other. The more you think about it, the less sense this trick makes, which adds to how unexplainable it really is.
So you're telling me this guy, he's put a ring into the other hand without even touching it. Look, I'm not a big magician. I don't really get any of this, but that's weird.
A contestant on Britain's Got Talent in 2016 who performed a trick that magician Oz Perlman performed on America's Got Talent a year before. However, Richard's trick was a bit more advanced. The trick featured Richard showing two notebooks, one of which was filled with celebrity names and the other one was filled with drink names. Two of the judges randomly picked one entry and the trick began. He started off with the celebrity name and made an origami cutout of David Beckham's face, which was the person the first judge had picked. The next judge had randomly picked tea. However, Richard seemed to guess wrong when he pulled out orange soda from a bag he had brought with him. This is when the trick goes from interesting to unexplainable.
You said breakfast tea, was that right?
Correct.
If I open this up, ladies and gentlemen, just what you ordered.
No way! Tea in a can?
Please taste it.
Now, I'm not, like I said, but I think this could possibly be explainable. Now, this could be just me trying to take things a bit far, but basically it could be that he gave him a notebook with no other things inside it. Like nothing else, but it could be one thing that they know. It could be it's whatever, it's like the tea, right? There could be nothing else in the book. It could just be saying there's plenty of everything, but she specifically landed on that page. She could be saying that in that book was just tea, and he knew about that, so he knew. So
Dynamo is a popular magician from England who I featured in the past because of his mind-blowing tricks, but he has come out and explained how some of them are done. However, for what might be his most popular trick, he decided to offer no explanation. Now, there has been some magicians who have created the illusion of walking on water, but it is commonly the case where their tricks will be revealed or exposed, and it usually involves witnesses who are actually in on the trick and a designated pool where the magician can pretend to walk on water, when in reality they're walking on a platform that has been put down. But Dynamo took this trick and made it look extremely real. For one, he didn't know any of the witnesses, and he definitely didn't own the area he did it in. And this is because he walked on water in the River Thames, the biggest river in England. This is all while boats are in the water around him, with rowers and ships passing him by. He eventually is taken in by what appears to be the police. It's interesting because the boat that takes him in gets extremely close to him, and if there was a platform there, the boat shouldn't be able to drive on it. There are some people who are understandably skeptical, but this trick does remain for the most part unexplained.
What if there's a type of shoe? It could be the type of shoes he could be wearing, but I don't know.
Well known for his mind-blowing tricks and illusions. He performed a trick that is very popular to perform, known as the nail in the bag trick. The idea is that 6 bags will be randomly placed in a row and one of these bags will contain a nail. The performer will then slam their hand down into 5 of the bags, all of which should be empty. Darren starts off this trick by throwing a red circle into the crowd, proving that the trick is indeed done with a random volunteer. This may be the most interesting part, as the volunteer is the one who picks what bags Darren will slam his hand onto, and the primary criticism for this trick is that the assistant is in on it. But with this version of the trick, that doesn't appear to be the case. Darren hovers his hand around the bags, and the volunteer tells him when to stop. He then slams his hand on the bag 4 times in a row without hitting the nail, before eventually getting the volunteer to slam the 5th one, which of course is also empty. He then reveals the 6th bag, which does indeed end up having the nail in it. There could have been some trick to this, but Darren Brown did a great job of making it seem like it was random, and it remains unknown as to how he did it with such confidence.
Alright, this time we're doing explained. So we've seen this guy in the video, but we're just doing explained now.
Main card trick. David Blaine, the man known for his amazing jaw-breaking magic feats. This time, he chose to do a simple card trick on Ellen's show. He first calls upon a girl from the audience to make the trick even more interesting. He takes a deck of cards and asks Ellen to choose any card at random and sign over it. He then places the card between the deck and shuffles it many times, and allows that to stay in between Ellen's palms. Then he asks that girl to say any random number, and the girl chooses 13.
13th from the top.
David then asks to check the 13th card from the top of the deck, and that card was supposed to be the card that Ellen signed. But the 13th card wasn't the card that Ellen signed.
Oh,
I didn't,
okay.
that's not the card.
Oh, that's not your card?
No.
So David made up the final part of the trick, and said that he folded the card and flicked it through the air under the wristwatch of Ellen. And finally, it turns out that the card was the actual one that Ellen signed.
That's actually class.
He then quickly places the card under the watch without Ellen even noticing it. You could even see the card already folded and fixed under Ellen's wristwatch. And everything would be great if your coffee turns into gold coins? Call David Blaine, the record.
That would be very strange if my coffee turned into coins. I don't drink coffee, but yeah, it'd be very strange.
Breaking magician who knows this magic trick. Now, this was one of David Blaine's most famous tricks, in which he turned a homeless man's cup of coffee into a cup full of gold coins. So, how does David make coffee turn into coins? Well, we have the secret. Hidden inside the coffee cup is another small cup with a sponge at the bottom of it. That cup is just large enough to fit inside the main coffee cup below the coffee line. A sponge is being cut to fit inside the outer cup, and that cup has a small hole at the bottom. The size of the hole is such that David can easily place his finger to cover it, and this becomes the key to the trick. Now, the small cup filled with coins goes into the outer cup on top of the sponge, and finally, the coffee is poured inside the cup. Now, David starts performing the trick. First, he places his finger inside the hole at the bottom, and through that hole, he slowly pushes the sponge above, which makes the small cup filled with coins rise and appear. This makes the coffee drain down below the inner cup from its sides and into the sponge, which absorbs all the coffee.
I mean, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this one, and I'll do more types of videos on like magic and other things. Let me know in the comments what other stuff I should do.